Hi guys, so I wanted to speak with you guys about one of the chronic invisible illnesses that I deal with, and that is fibromyalgia. So, what is fibromyalgia? So, fibromyalgia is, according to different medical websites like WebMD and Mayo Clinic, fibromyalgia is widespread muscle, soft tissue pain. Widespread joint and nerves can be included in that pain. The pain is accompanied with fatigue and exhaustion. Those battling fibromyalgia or fibro can have memory issues known as fibrofog, where you may forget things, or be at a loss of words. You don't really know what to say. You kind of have it in your mind, but you can't, spit it out. That's known as fibrofog. You have vision issues, speech issues, sleep disturbances, and you can have mood issues, including depression and anxiety. The pain experienced with fibromyalgia is amplified by mixed up brain signals, like your brain isn't processing pain signals, and it's not processing brain signals correctly. One can also just not have a overall sense of not feeling well. A lot of people say, "Oh, so you have the flu?" No, it's like the flu times 100 plus 30 other symptoms all at once. Just think of everything I just said. Like, who would want that? That's a lot. That's a lot. It is a real illness, and it is an invisible illness, as I've stated before, which means you can't see it per se. And I say per se because even though, you can't physically say that the person is ill, because the person battling this condition doesn't walk with a cane, use a cane, doesn't, have a wheelchair, or, may not be limping. But if you hang around this person, if the person who suffers from, or I say battles from fibroid has it, if you hang around them long enough, you will start to see the manifestation of this illness. This person, you can see that they're not doing things that they might have been able to do before. Maybe you notice they don't go out as much. They walk different. When they sit, they may sit differently. Maybe their mood is different. Maybe they're tired all the time. And then, the obvious pain. You may see that they're in pain. They may say they're in pain. So even though it's invisible, you can see kind of like the symptoms, but there won't be any, certain things that people would think of when they say, someone is sick. Some people with fibro may be in bed all the time, and others may be able to exercise a little. So, it's different for anyone that suffers with this. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of condition. The cause of fibro is unknown. There are doctors speculate that genetics may play a part, that infections may bring it about. I don't really know too much about this. I don't see too much literature about the infection part, but they say physical or emotional trauma may play a part in this disease. Physical or emotional, like a car accident or some type of psychological threat. But there's really not a definitive answer about what causes this condition. Women tend to have fibro more than men, and family history plays a part. Other disorders make you more susceptible to having fibromyalgia, like if you have rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, if you have lupus, if you have autoimmune diseases, you're more susceptible to having fibromyalgia. And this is just stuff that I've read on the web and stuff that my doctors have told me. Now, I'm not an expert in any of this, but I'm just going off what I've learned. Again, the symptoms of fibromyalgia are, and I'm going to read this, to you, because I am using stuff that I typed up to be able to explain everything to you guys, because, again, one of the symptoms of fibromyalgia are memory issues. So I am experiencing memory issues, so I had to type everything up to be able to read it to you guys. Okay? So, symptoms of fibromyalgia: brain fog, forgetting what you're doing or what you want to say, memory issues, misplacing things, exhaustion, and fatigue. And I don't mean regular tired, I mean exhaustion. Widespread pain in muscles, soft tissues, and joints, also nerve pain for some. Docs say there should be 18 points in the body that hurt, that a doctor would press on, that would indicate you have fibro. I think they changed it now to 11, so it would be 11 pressure points or trigger points that they would touch on your body, and from the way you react, they would be able to tell you whether or not you have fibromyalgia. Poor sleep disorders, like insomnia, interrupted sleep, anxiety or depression. People who suffer from fibromyalgia, I said fibroid, sorry, fibro, to keep it short, may suffer from anxiety or depression. There's no cure for this chronic illness. However, there's treatments. So the FDA has approved 3 drugs for the treatment of fibromyalgia. And those 3 drugs are Cymbalta, which is an antidepressant, Savella for pain, and Lyrica, which is for nerve pain. I know a lot of you may know about Lyrica because it's always on TV. There's a lot of commercials for Lyrica. Let's see, what else do I want to let you guys know? Even though these meds are FDA approved, there's going to be meds that your doctor prescribes to you that are not FDA approved, but your doctor feels that you may benefit from them, and maybe they've seen that it's worked for other patients, so they would possibly prescribe them to you. I want to make it clear again, I'm not saying that I am for any type of medication or that I choose one over the other. Simply providing information on medication that's used to treat the symptoms of fibromyalgia. Let's see, for pain, for muscle pains, there are meds like Flexeril and methocarbamol. These are muscle relaxers. There are many more. I'm not going to name them all because we'd be here forever. There are nerve pain medication like gabapentin, Lyrica, Cymbalta, of course. There are others. For depression, there are antidepressants like Cymbalta, Celexa, Lexapro. For sleep disorders, there are Savella. There are others. Some people just take a sleeping pill if they can't sleep, over-the-counter stuff. But if it's like really a major symptom that you're having regarding your sleep, you're suffering from insomnia, sleep disturbances, maybe night terrors, then you would definitely speak to your doctor about getting some type of medication to help you with your sleeping. So if meds aren't your thing, there are people that do not like to take medication, feel that it does more harm than good, don't like the side effects. There are individuals that say that all you need to do is change your diet, and you'll be able to manage your fibro, like eating better, eating gluten-free, staying away from high-fat foods. There are other individuals that say, exercise helps manage symptoms, some yoga, meditation, different strokes for different folks. So, medication, exercise, changing your eating habits, or having a healthier lifestyle, whatever that means for some people. So those are different treatments for fibro. There is no cure, once again. So, we're hoping that one day there'll be a cure, because this is a chronic disease, lifelong. And for those of us that are on meds, we know that we are never 100% pain-free. Okay? So that's a little bit about fibromyalgia, right? Now that you have an idea about it, I can tell you how I was diagnosed. So I will try to keep it quick. It's easier if I read some of the information to you instead of trying to go off my memory, because as I said, my memory is affected. I do not remember things from like college, maybe even a month ago. So it's pretty bad. I'm sorry if you guys hear noise in the background while I'm talking to you all. I do have children, and the 2-year-old's very vocal. She likes to play a lot, and she's very active. So right now she's sweeping her room. Yeah, she's 2. So she likes to grab the broom and sweep. So if you hear the noise and banging, it's her and the broom. Okay, but Grandma's in the room with her, watching her. You'll hear stuff moving around in there. So sorry about the noise. Okay, so I didn't start noticing back pain until after I had my son in 2006. Before that, I went to college. I partied, exercised, moved a few times with roommates, and I used to move my own stuff, like carry TVs and sofas, which I shouldn't have done. But, I was young and free and invincible. Superwoman, Wonder Woman. Kind of did everything for myself. Yeah. So, well, after my son, I started to notice that my back was hurting all the time. If you notice now, I sit slouched. I can't break free of it. My back hurts. But I figured everyone suffers from back pain, And I ignored it for several years, actually. I used to just take a Tylenol here and there and a leave when it got pretty bad, and just ignored it. Didn't seek treatment, just went about my business, and had another child in 2011. And the pain became worse in my back, all over, muscle pain. It was now becoming kind of a normal thing for me to be in pain, to have like back pain. And I would maybe put muscle cream on. I bought a shiatsu massage chair. I was buying all type of stuff for like the back, to massage the back, but I never thought that it was something super serious where I had to see a doctor. I continued working, moving, living life. Really wasn't telling anyone that I was in pain. I didn't want to be a complainer. I was never a complainer. I had begun seeing a neurologist because, incidentally, I found out that I had a brain cyst. But that's another invisible illness I will discuss with you in another video. And I never thought about telling the neurologist about my back to kind of around, I would say 2012 or so. I told him about my back. So several years now. Remember, I started having back pain around 2006. So this is 6 years later now. So can you imagine all the damage I let happen, not telling anyone about my back? So around 2012, I told him about, the back pain, described everything to him. He took several MRIs of my cervical spine, the middle, thoracic spine, and the lower by your buttocks, the lumbar spine. And turns out that I had several herniated discs, a pinched nerve in my neck, pinched nerve in my lower back that was causing sciatica down my leg, my right leg. He asked me if I was a victim of domestic violence, and I said no. He said, have you been in a horrible car accident? I said no. And he said, well, you have the back of like a 7-year-old. You even have arthritis in your spine. Several herniated discs at several different levels of my spine. I think maybe it was all the moving. So he treated me for a couple of years, giving me, referrals to chiropractors, referrals to physical therapy. I went to both. I first began using pain meds with this neurologist. He gave me hydrocodone, and then for the muscle pain, he gave me methocarbamol. And, it was helping with the pain. It wasn't fully, making me pain-free, but it was helping with the pain. And during this time, I was seeing the chiropractor, didn't like the way it felt at all. It was extremely painful. I had to stop. And the physical therapy, I would feel kind of better for an hour or two after, but then the pain would just come back full force. So it's just, I wasn't getting any relief, and I couldn't understand why. It just kept getting worse. So, you know, I just kind of decided to look into other options, and I researched a couple places. So I decided to go to a musculoskeletal center in NYU in Manhattan, in New York. And that doctor there, he said, it's not good to be on pain meds for a very long time. Let's try something else, to get you off these pain meds. And so he did epidural steroid injections, very painful. I got about 8 of them total. Long epidural injection in my lumbar, my lower back, because that was where I was having the most pain. 8 of them while awake. They just kind of numb the top of your skin, but you still feel the injection. Again, very painful. Had somewhat of relief of the lower back for a couple of weeks, but the muscle pain, my shoulders, the middle of my back, the nerve pain, like the numbness and tingling in my hands, my feet, all still there. And, I was also starting to be just very fatigued all the time, tired, just like an overwhelmed feeling again of not feeling well. And I let him know this. And he said, basically we've tried everything. We've given you 8 injections. You're on pain meds. You haven't been able to get off the pain meds even with the injections. So there's pretty much nothing else I can do for you, he told me. Basically, I wish you luck, and you have to move forward with pain management. So pain management is where you just go to a clinic and they try things to manage your pain. Medication being one of them. Sometimes they try, other things, but nothing really worked for me. One of the things that I did take from him is that he referred me to an osteopath in Chinatown in New York. And so I went to the osteopath for a spine manipulation, trigger point injection, and acupuncture if I wanted. I tried the trigger point injection. He did a few injections in my upper, my neck, around my shoulders. No relief. Again, it hurt. Feel like a needle going in your skin, but in your neck instead of your arm. Spine manipulation. Basically, they move your spine around, and after one round, I couldn't take it anymore because, again, to get to that spot where he could maneuver my spine, he had to touch my muscles. And I almost jumped off the table. And so that made him think, what's really going on with you? Because most people just, even if they have back pain, they can handle someone touching their muscles, touching their shoulders and their lower back, and you can't handle it. So he pressed a couple points in my back, and I almost just collapsed on the floor in pain. And he said, Miss, you have herniated discs, you have pinched nerves, but I think the bigger issue here is that you have fibromyalgia. And this is the first time in 6-7 years that I heard someone ever say the word fibromyalgia. I never heard of it before. I said, I have what? He's like, you have fibromyalgia. And he's like, you might see your general doctor and discuss this with your general doctor and see, what's the best regimen for you, what medication you can be put on, because you're not going to be able to handle any type of massages or spine manipulation unless you get your pain under control. And I went home and I started researching fibromyalgia, and I was like, oh my God, just everything that was mentioned was everything that I was feeling all these years. And the fact that no one ever told me about this, I was just disappointed. I was upset and kind of sad. I cried, and I just couldn't understand, why me? Why did I have to have this condition with no cure? And the symptoms are just horrendous. And things only got worse. So right after my diagnosis, I actually became pregnant with my third child. So I was not able to get any type of treatment until she was delivered because I refused to take any type of medication while pregnant. So I suffered a very long, very painful pregnancy, but I didn't want to take anything while pregnant. So in 2016, after my last child was born, Sam, I decided I needed to find someone who can help me manage my pain, because I was living a less than, let's just say, the quality of life became very poor, because you wake up in the morning, you're in pain, afternoon you're in pain, night you're in pain while eating, you're in pain while bathing. It's just pain, pain, pain. Everything hurts all the time. I walk around feeling like I'm carrying concrete blocks on my shoulders every day, and that's actually how I feel now. It just, it can be a very debilitating illness, and you just have to try to find what works best for you to try to, keep trucking along. So since all the pain continued, I said, well, let me try different things. Let me try eating well, which I was on a diet. I was eating very healthy, and I still had the pain. I was taking the pain pills. Now I began taking them again, and the muscle relaxers again. My pain went from a 10 to about a 6. And I didn't actually get to see, even though I was seeing a pain doctor, I didn't get to see a general doctor, or someone who would actually put me on the right regimen for the fibromyalgia. So I was getting pain pills to help with the pain. I was getting muscle relaxers to help with the muscles, but I wasn't getting anything for the nerve pain, the numbness and tingling, or it was hard. So that was 2016. But then in 2017, I made a move from New York to Florida. So we ended up in Orlando, and I found a pain doctor. And he continued, the pain pills. And he actually tried injections for my lower back again, because the pain in the lower back is like the worst. And sometimes I have back spasms, where I can't even walk and I have to go to the ER. So he tried medial branch block. Again, I have to read it to you so you can understand what it is. Let's see if I can get it. Sorry guys, I'm looking for it. Basically, the medial branch block, it was injections into the facet joints. And, what's put in is kind of like pain medicine along with some type of like anesthesia or anesthetic, something to kind of numb the areas you won't feel the pain. It didn't work. I found no relief, and those were 4 injections. Again, while I was up, they sedated me, which makes you kind of woozy, but I was up and I felt every injection. You're in pain for a couple days after, you're sore, you're bruised at the injection site, and I found no relief. So he said, I don't think it's your facet joints, then it's probably your sacroiliac joints. So those are 2 other joints kind of like right above your hip. And he was going to do those injections next, but then we moved from Orlando to the Fort Lauderdale area where we are now, because, my husband got a promotion and we had to move. So I found a pain doc now, and we'll get to that. But I'm still having lots of pain, swollen joints, muscle pain. I can't bend the same way. I can't get on my knees to play on the floor with the kids. The pain in my shoulders, my lower back is immense. I have numbness and tingling in my fingers and my toes all day. Extreme fatigue, exhaustion. I'm having memory issues, vision issues. I just got glasses around 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because I was having vision issues. I'm having speech issues. I am, stuttering. Sometimes I think of the words I want to say, but it doesn't quite come out. And I'm having anxiety. I never used to have that. I noticed when my husband's driving on the highway, I keep feeling like we're going to get in a car accident, and I get anxious and my heart starts beating. just get nervous if he drives over like 70. And also I notice when the kids are being very loud or they're fighting and like screaming and crying, I just can't take the crying like I used to. You know, there's 3 of them, they're gonna fight, but I noticed that I have to, you know, tell them stop fighting, and I kind of have to remove myself and just like breathe, because it will be too much for me, like the noise of the screaming. That never used to happen to me before, so these are definitely new symptoms, in addition to the ones I have and haven't gone away. So, you know, it's rough, but, you know, my treatment, like I explained to you the treatment that's available, but my current treatment is I'm learning to live with fibromyalgia. And some people around me don't understand what I'm going through because, again, I don't look sick. I appear healthy to the uninformed eye. I don't wear a cast. Again, I don't use a cane, no wheelchair, no. I do get out of bed and I do things. I cook, I clean, I do laundry, I go grocery shopping. I do play with the kids as best I can. But I need for people who are around me who see me doing these things to understand that as I'm doing them, I'm in pain. And when I'm done doing them, I am in agony. Like, I took the kids to Disney. You know, Disney's an all-day walk. In one park, you can spend all day walking. It's just like hours of walking. I did that with them. And the nighttime when we got home, I couldn't walk. The muscle cramps in my legs were so severe that I was crying. Nothing I did helped. I took a hot shower. I put heating pads. I put muscle cream. I couldn't walk. My lower back went into a spasm. And the only thing I could do was lay down and cry. And this was all because I wanted to take my kids to Disney. And just the pain was unbearable. I had sore muscles for at least 4 days after that. And not even my pain pills or my muscle relaxers helped the pain. And it was just awful. Awful. And everyone else who walked Disney with us was fine the next day. They said, you know, they were a little tired, but I wasn't a little tired. I was in agony. I was very close to going to the ER. But what would I tell them? They would look at me like I was crazy. I took my kids to Disney, and now I'm having a back spasm, and I'm in agony. They can't see what I'm going through. They can't see on the inside how I feel. So I just dealt with it. And these are one of the things that I have to deal with fibromyalgia. I have to think about, if I'm going to do something with the kids, I have to think about how it will affect me for the following days, the days after. You know, I'm seeing, as I said, a pain doctor. I am taking a muscle relaxer, a pain pill, and now I am on a nerve pain medication, which I was not on last year. I just started the nerve pain medication in May. So I'm taking Flexeril, Tramadol, and Gabapentin. I'm still in pain. I would say they make my pain go from a 10 to a 6. So on an average day, I'm a 6, 7. There are some days when I wake up at a 10. And so I might not have still found the right regimen for me yet, but, you know, it's a work in progress. I also see a rheumatologist. Well, the pain doctor has me scheduled for the sacroiliac injections that I was supposed to get in Orlando, but I didn't because I moved. He has me scheduled that for mid-July, and I'm seeing a rheumatologist because, you know, my bones, and I'm seeing the rheumatologist because my bones and my joints just ache. And so he actually thinks I have an autoimmune disease, which he doesn't know whether RA or lupus, but I'm being screened for that. And you know, I'm just taking it a day at a time. Let's see. So, I mean, pretty much that's it. You know, I explained what fibro is, the treatments, how I was diagnosed, my treatment. And I'm a fibro warrior for everyone that suffers, or I shouldn't say suffer, that battles this condition is a warrior, because it's an everyday fight. It's never ending. I just try to carry on the best I can because I do have 3 kids, and I have to try my best not to let what's going on with me impact my children. To all my fiber warriors, and for all of you that don't have fibro but had enough love in your heart to watch this video, because either you want to understand what people are going through or you just want to be informed, I thank you so much for watching. You know, if I didn't cover everything, it's because everything cannot be covered. And just thank you. Thank you for watching.